Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. Today I think I'm going to try to do 3 separate videos, which is a lot of work, but I feel like I'm having work withdrawal right now because it feels like I had way too much fun over the weekend. I'm starting to have the opposite problem of what I had when I came back from Finland and was trying to readjust to working a lot, and I feel like I'm trying to readjust to socializing a lot, and it's really hard. Part of it is I also kind of feel like I'm about to run a marathon. Like what? I mean, yeah, kind of, but the whole thing with this is it's sort of like when I have a really stressful race or something, or like exam, or this was in the past, when this would happen, I would basically be like wanting to be alone and like mentally prepare, which is a little bit how I'm starting to feel this week. So, I'm going to try to pump some things out because we don't know at what point, the impending medical procedure, that's really not what it is, but the birth is going to happen. So it's getting kind of scary. So I'm a little bit like, I'm probably just going to be in the zone, which I'm not even sure what that zone looks like, because it's like going to take an exam, but you don't know when the exam's going to happen. It's very weird. I've never experienced anything like this. But anyway, one of the issues that I learned about recently, and this is, one of the things that I love about being in Finland, I'm just constantly learning new random things. And the biggest issue that I'm having right now is that apparently you can't name your kid whatever you want in Finland. Number one name you can never name your kid is Lucifer. I actually have a friend who named their cat Lucifer, and I wonder if the cat is officially registered in Finland as Lucifer per the vet records. Anyway, not really important, but I wasn't going to name my kid Lucifer anyway. But there are all these names that can't get approved, and there's like an Yle article about this. Like there were some that were approved and some that weren't approved. Okay, this is actually very interesting. I think I'm going to try to show a screenshot of this here because I think it's funny. So the one that was really funny, because I was talking to my one Russian friend about this, is like this one that's like Daniel or whatever. Like it's like Daniel, but like the Russian name, but like you can't spell it with 2 I's and an E, which I'm not really sure why you would do that, because that's just like too much going on. But that one apparently got rejected, and I'm like, why? Just because the spelling is stupid? But like, what is the actual reason that got rejected? Like, I don't really understand. And then the other one that was on here that I thought was funny was CJ, because the reason why this is funny is because when I went to the bar a couple weeks ago, yeah, this is also funny because obviously I'm going to bars as like, somebody who should not be in a bar. Well, it doesn't matter. I just like, don't drink anything. But anyway, so this one guy who's singing, who, appears to be African, and I'm like, I don't think that dude's African. I think he's from the US, because his name is CJ. And so now I'm just thinking about it's funny because CJ is on this list. And then we're like, what does CJ even stand for? And then we start talking about Carl Jr., like, I don't even know, like the restaurant in the US, and then nobody's ever been there before, and it was this whole thing that was like really stupid and funny. But anyway, so there are these random names on this list that like cannot be used. Now the issue was I was going to name my kid a little bit of like a meme thing, and I don't really want to talk about what I was going to name my kid because I feel like it's very I started thinking about all these articles where it's like, if you're monetizing your kid, then you're going to have to pay them a percentage of what you make, which that's not really the point. What I'm trying to get at is that it's controversial to be monetizing your kid. So, I'm talking about the fact that I'm having a kid, but I'm not sure I'm really wanting to use the kid as like a monetization ploy. I'm kind of not. But anyway, I just kind of forgot that this was a problem. Or I think I only recently knew that it was an issue. So I'm sort of like, okay, well, what if my name doesn't get accepted? So then I have to come up with a backup name now, but I've spent my entire, like actually even pre-pregnancy, I already like knew what I was going to name my kid. And now I'm like, I don't have a backup plan, but my one friend today was like, you need a backup name, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. And apparently you have to like apply for the name. It's not just like you leave the hospital and the kid has a name, which I thought that's how it works in the US. Don't know how it works in Finland. So anyway, part of this is like information gathering, and I'm sure I can just Google it, but like this is stuff that's kind of shocking, and stuff you sort of forget because sometimes you just assume it works the same. Like I said, this whole birthright citizenship thing that I thought this was just Americans didn't know this, but this is like everybody everywhere seems to not know that if your kid is born in Finland, your kid is not an automatic Finnish citizen unless one of the one of the parents is a Finnish citizen. So yes, there is that. Now, I guess what happens is you try to apply for a name and the name can get rejected. And if it gets rejected, you need a new name. So I don't know if I just wait and see if that's going to happen or if I just kind of be prepared now. And I'm like, great, do I need to look at a list of baby names or how's this going to go? But anyway, I just thought it was really interesting because there's this list on Ule that's both like names that were accepted and names that were rejected. And it's like, I'm just like, how do they decide this? Like, what are the criteria? Something else that I thought was really interesting was that you cannot name your kid, or I'm going to have to fact check this, okay? But this is what I read, is that you can't name your kid something that is like the opposite gender. It's kind of interesting because that's like not really a thing. So it's like, you know, because I was thinking about like, I know a woman named Ryan and I know a girl named Michael, which are like, you know, male names in the US, but nobody said you couldn't name your kid a male name. My one friend recently named her daughter Charlie, which also I have a cousin named Charlie. Like, you know, Charlie is used as a girl's name, but it's traditionally a guy's name because it's like Charles, like short for Charles. So I don't know. This is very confusing, and concerning. And like, you know, is it a problem then if I give my kid a middle name that's a male name? Because I was planning on doing that. So I'm just like, crap, I didn't think about this being an issue, and now this is an issue, so gotta think more about this. But anyway, it's kind of not a really big problem, but it is a problem. So yes. Anyway, I'm still trying to figure out how to exactly transition like away from this current platform where I've been doing dual videos for a long time and putting that into my new current platform. And I'm probably going to keep doing that for a while until the Mikaela in Finland channel picks up some traction. I'm probably going to just, you know, do a bunch of videos for as long as I can until I get so burnt out that I'm like not doing these anymore, because that's probably, well, you know, obviously, labor takes time, and so does like recovering. So there's going to be a period of time where I just disappear. This weekend I disappeared because I had a friend visiting. That was pretty cool. We did our barbecue thing, and she's all like, "Oh, this is so nice. The nature here is so nice." And like she was visiting she's from Italy, and she's like, "We never do stuff like this in Italy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't say we do stuff like this in the U.S. either." And it's just kind of what I like about living here. So, you know, it was like there was a tea party, and there was a in the woods party, then there was a walking around the harbor party. Well, that's not a party. That was just an excursion. And I really tell people not to come to La Pedranza for more than 2 days, to be honest, because at that point I run out of things to entertain them with. But yeah, so it was just like walking around the city center and then like, you know, meeting people. But there was a point last night at which I was just like, I'm too tired and please everybody leave. But I didn't say that, but luckily, one of my friends was like, I think she wants to sleep. And I was like, yes, yes. So, okay. Anyway, that's kind of it. But yesterday was the day that I learned about this naming problem. And I'm sort of like, oh no, what do I do? Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be everything from that. And I'm going to try to come up with another video for the other channel. Yes. So thank you for your support. And again, do not forget to follow me if you want more like Finnish directed content at Mikaela in Finland, because I'm going to try to like really market to the Finnish audience who wants to know a lot about like what I think about being an American and living in Finland. So there's that. Okay. Well, thank you. And until my next video. Bye.